Our next contestant, Lucas Steeves, Magic Words. Magic Words, Lucas Steeves.
I love words. Not so much reading them or writing them, but hearing them and saying them and just the fact that they exist. As a kid, I used to spend hours listening to recordings of my favorite storytellers like Stuart McLean and Rod Beatty, or if my parents weren't home, George Carlin and Bill Hicks. And as I would sit there listening to these people describing imaginary characters, having made-up adventures, I could close my eyes and concentrate, and it was as if I was there with them. I would have the most vivid hallucinations, all without any drugs at all. It was magic. See, words have an interesting power. They've given humans the ability to communicate complicated ideas and principles from person to person and generation to generation. And in doing so, have given us the power to create the entire world that we live in today. It's amazing. To this day, the fact that I can stand in front of you, vibrating my vocal cords and flapping my lips, and by doing so, take a thought out of my mind, transmit it through thin air and plant it into yours, blows my mind. But it's a uniquely human characteristic. You see, out of all the thousands or millions of different species on this planet, not one of them has mastered language in the way human beings have. I mean, sure, some animals have rudimentary vocalizations. Dogs bark, cats meow, whales sing. But none of them have the subtlety and nuance that human beings do. Some have come close. Giraffes, for example. Did you know that giraffes have a particular sound that they make to warn other giraffes when there are bees in the area and they should leave immediately? It's true. When I first heard that, I got a little bit jealous. I thought these giraffes, they're already tall and majestic, live in Africa. Now they have this fancy sound they make. Humans should have a sound for that. Then it hit me. We do have a sound for that. It sounds like this. There are bees in the area. We should leave immediately. Chimpanzees have a sound that they make to warn other chimps of an approaching lion. And humans have a sound for that too. It sounds like this. Ah, lion! Well, what kind of sound do you make when there's a lion approaching? But in the addition to the ability to pass ideas and concepts from person to person, words have given us the ability to take mental images and plant them in the minds of other people. And by messing with the words, you can mess with the image that is transmitted. It's so cool. I'll show you. We'll do an experiment. Everybody close your eyes for a moment and imagine a dog that is purple and has two heads. Okay, you can open your eyes again. Now, how many people right away when I said imagine a dog thought of a purple two-headed dog? Nobody, of course not. Why would you? Because when I say imagine a dog, your mind goes through every image of every dog you've ever seen and comes up with a picture of what a dog means. And then I come along and describe the dog. But if I said something like imagine a pink two-legged cow, right away you think of a cow that is pink and has two legs. It is so cool. What happens when you take the adjective and move it in front of the verb? Noun. But some words and phrases give us mental images that are very accurate to what they're trying to describe, while others give us images that are not so accurate to what they mean. I'll give you an example. If I say apple tree, and you think of a tree covered in apples, that is accurate. If I say grapevine, you think of a vine covered in grapes, that is accurate. But if I say Brazilian, after Laura's talk, you probably don't think of somebody from Brazil, but that's often what it refers to. Now that principle became a problem for me a few years ago when I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. He was telling me about salmon ladders. And when I heard the phrase salmon ladder, I got a peculiar mental image. I thought of a salmon trying to climb a ladder. I thought, now that's ridiculous. Salmon don't have gutters to clean out or Christmas lights to hang. Why would they need a ladder? They live in the ocean. Then he explained to me it's actually a series of pools around a hydroelectric dam to allow the fish to get upstream to spawn. So I thought, well, surely there's a better way to describe that. Like a series of pools around a hydroelectric dam to allow the fish to get upstream and spawn. Maybe I'm crazy. A couple weeks later, I was cruising along in my pickup listening to the CBC, and a program came on. They were talking about how salmon ladders across the country were being replaced by fish cannons. Now, when I heard the phrase fish cannon, I got a mental image similar to the one you probably just had. I thought of a cannon with a fish coming out the end of it. I thought, now that is ridiculous. So I got on Wikipedia, I did a little bit of research. I found out that's exactly what it is. It's a cannon with fish, boom, 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 flying out the end of it. Apparently, some environmentalists realized salmon were being injured as they climbed these salmon ladders. I'm not surprised. So they thought the best way to prevent those injuries was to shoot them out of a cannon! I don't know about you, but when I think about preventing injuries, cannons are rarely involved. See, the point is that words have an incredible amount of power. When they're used correctly in the right context, by the right people, with the right intentions, they can bring people together, share ideas and principles, and help us create the entire world in which we live today. But when they're used incorrectly, or in the wrong order, or by the wrong people with the wrong intentions, they have the power to tear apart the fabric of everything they helped create. So the next time you open your mouth to speak, or put your pen to a paper to write, I want you to think very carefully about the words you choose. Because if you don't, you might end up shooting a salmon out of a cannon trying to save its life. Thank you.
One minute of silence, please.